Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is an entry-level Java engineer. I don't actually know if this is a Java engineer. I did a meet or yeet of this where I have to find these qualifications, which are qualifications, not keywords. Nobody calls them keywords. No recruiter calls this keywords. These are qualifications, where I try to find these qualifications in 20 seconds, which is about how much a normal recruiter has time to view your resume, and I did not find it. But it could be they are full stack. So this is the Java developer, whatever, just entry-level Java software engineer qualifications. Java, Spring, Spring Boot, SQL, RESTful API, microservices, OOP, Git, other APIs, Maven, Cloud, Architecting, SDLC, MongoDB, and extra credit for the rest of those. This is full stack, which, again, they might also be. I don't know which, could not find Java, maybe they're full stack. But I know no other recruiter is finding it because they have sent... what they stated was they graduated from university and they have never gotten an interview on their own without internships or not when applying for internships. So I've applied for over 200 jobs with not receiving an OA. I don't know what OA means. I assume maybe first stage interview, maybe an offer. I've not actually heard OA before. Ended up getting a job because of a family member. Now that I'm looking for full-time, I've applied to 150 plus and got nothing again. They consider themselves to be a Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, React, Next.js, and Python, so ideally jobs that would target that tech stack. So again, this might be closer to a full stack, but nobody is going with this person. So, oh, they're in Canada. Okay, then the full stack will be slightly different, but my problem was I just didn't see it. So you need to focus your resume, especially for entry level. There are managers that fully believe that your tech stack is agnostic. If you've done Java, then you can do any of them. That is very, very, very the case. But that's kind of more in the startup section a lot, and the other ones view it that you need to have X amount of qualifications and skills. So if you don't show that you have these, they're not going to move you forward. So for full stack in Canada, which I think this is probably closer, is going to be this. So again, we're changing it to full stack in Canada. And I still don't see this. I see CI/CD, which is good. Your formatting is also not great. You want to use this formatting. It's still legible, but it could be a lot better. So you want to use this formatting. CI/CD I found. Jenkins I don't really care about. Docker I could care about, but maybe, again, it's really going to depend. So that's like a half a point. And then there's nothing else here. Then you go down here, and again, this doesn't count. I can't use anything here. They have to be in here. And I see the word full stack, but I don't see what you used for the full stack. And there's nothing here I can use, nothing here I can use, nothing here I can use, nothing here I can use until we get to Java, which is good, and microservices, which is good. Then we get down to here, and I see API, which is okay, and AWS, which is actually good. But that's still not enough. And if you notice, that's a problem, is I have to go all the way down here to get like 6 things, when you could have put in those in like here or here. So I need you to focus on your tech stack because, again, especially for entry level, unless it's like in the startup space, they're really, really, really going to care about your particular qualifications, even if they are really basic. I need you to tell me what this is. Was this in Python? Probably because of Docker, but I don't know. What did you use Jenkins for? I need this to be very spelled out. So when you say this, I don't want you to say developed a full stack social enabling blah, 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 blah. I want you to say developed a full stack social platform using TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and React. That alone is 5 of the things I'm looking for because I think you only had about 30%. So part of your problem is you just don't have the qualifications. That doesn't mean you haven't done them. That just means you're not showing them. Because remember, this doesn't count. You cannot put it here. This means nothing. Does not matter that you put this here. This can be one line, but that's a formatting issue. But again, your issue is not formatting, even though it's slightly off. Your issue is this: you don't have enough. you're basically showing the manager and the recruiter that you only have about 30% of the minimum qualifications to meet the job. And if you don't show you meet the minimum qualifications for the job, well, we can't move you forward. That's just not how that works. We can't do it. That's why they're called the minimum qualifications. You need to meet 75%. And the reason you need to meet 75% is not 100% is because they are aware that even if you don't have everything on the resume, maybe you left something out or maybe they missed something. So you typically only need about 75% to move forward. And I see about 20. So focus your resume. Maybe you should have a Python role, or maybe you have a full stack resume and a Java resume. And again, the JavaScript qualifications are here, at least in the US. I don't know the Canadian ones, but right now you're just showing that you have a blank resume. I also don't see where you have SQL. Again, this doesn't count. You have to have it here. I understand why you put it here, but you have to have this here. And in fact, even if you had everything here in here, that's still not enough. I still need more. So give me more of what I'm actually looking for. Fix your formatting, but really your bullet points are the problem. And we're going to go to the next resume. But before we do, if anybody ever needs any more help, you can join me on my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST till whenever work pulls me away at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. The link should be below as well. And thank you for watching, subscribing, and commenting. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume that hurts my eyes to read, and I visibly gasped, oh my gosh, when I saw it. But they are a business analyst or associate consultant trying to break into management consulting or business analyst. So for a business analyst specifically, because that is what I have up, we're going to be looking for SQL, Tableau, Power BI, industry. Again, like if you're in healthcare versus if you're in automotive, it's going to be a little bit different. There are going to be a couple of different qualifications. Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Outlook, Excel, Word, Jira, requirements gathering, documentation, cross-functional from IC to stakeholders and managers, explain complex topics to non-technical people. Again, you are going to be the expert. I need to come to you and say, hey, what is the 30% by 12% mean? And you have to explain that to me in simple terms, along with meeting multiple deadlines concurrently and agile, scrum, or waterfall. Typically you only need one, and it's usually agile, but some people want scrum or waterfall. So can I find this in 20 seconds? Probably not. This person has over 150, basically no one's giving them interviews. Their ratio is over 150 applications to an interview. And if you look at this, you can probably tell why. This is a nightmare of formatting. I know the formatting's bad. You need to use this, and you try to fit it into one like thing, but this hurts my eyes. This actually physically hurts my eyes. And everybody in chat is also like, oh my god, why? So your formatting is definitely a problem. Now let's see if I can find these in 20 seconds. All right, nothing useful here. Masters, okay, that could be good. Of engineering, not as relevant. Okay, errors, okay. Reduced audit prep, this is what, I wouldn't need that. Achieve savings, alright, well, this is not what I'm looking for. KPIs, what? I mean, maybe the KPIs. Yeah, I found nothing. Also, your formatting was so hard that I could only get to here. That's how, this is the problem with bad formatting. This is what a terribly formatted resume looks like. I'm actually may use this as the the screenshot for the video because it's so not great. Yeah, I'm not going to dig to see if there's any good bullet points here. No. Again, you've like developed KPIs, but finance, sales, RPA. So for a business analyst, I don't see like anything I need. Maybe for a management consultant, it would be a little bit different because those are not the qualifications, but I can only look up one role at a time. And in this case, I chose business analyst, and there's nothing here that I need for a business analyst. Yeah, like again, you're focusing so hard on these KPIs, which is okay to have a couple of sentences about KPIs, but what about talking to stakeholders? Oh, dashboards. Yeah, but you didn't say Tableau or Power BI. Like, you need to tell me more. Not only is this formatting bad, but at least for a business analyst, I really don't see anything I need until here. It's all percentages. Seriously, stop putting all these percentages in your resume. It's okay to have like 2, right? Like if you have 2 or 3 percentages, okay. And maybe managers will need a little bit more, but no role is asking for, hey, we need to find a candidate that's reduced audit prep time by 50% and improved financial data integrity by 65%. That's not what they're looking for. Achieve 60K annual savings and improved outreach ROI by creating AI-driven market automation. They're not looking for that. They're looking for the basics. So again, maybe the management consultant is going to be a little different, but I doubt it. I doubt they're asking for all of this. The only things that I think they might actually like is 1 or 2 of the KPIs, but like this is, what do you mean budget accuracy? Like how much they expect? This entire resume is incomprehensible to a layman, and if your resume is incomprehensible to a layman, your resume will not get moved forward. Partly because of the recruiter, but also partly because of the manager. Especially if you have a job like a business analyst where your job is to explain this stuff to dummies like me, and you don't do that. You expect me to have the same technical knowledge as you, and that's not the case. This one might be an okay sentence all the way down here, but yeah. So first off, fix your formatting, scrap the whole resume, and redo it based on what the actual qualifications are. Because remember, if it's not a part of the qualifications, it doesn't matter. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a C++ developer in Germany. And here's the problem. I'm not a German recruiter. I never recruited in Germany. I don't know. I cannot read German. And when I was finding this, I was having a bit of a problem because when you are a C++ developer, it could be a bunch of different stuff. You could be a full stack developer that knows some C++. You could be backend. You could be .NET. You could be an embedded systems engineer. You could be doing a ton of other stuff. So the problem with C++ in particular is you need to like even further focus down your niche. So this, I found some of those qualifications, but the fact is there's going to be more. They're going to be different. And if you're applying to like a pure backend versus a full stack, it's all going to change. So I can't easily get the German C++ developer ones, both because it's in German and because you need to further divide what you're looking for as a C++ developer. So I'm going to try to find this stuff in 20 seconds at least, because these were the most common. But again, I'm not sure if this is correct. So C++, good. Cameras, that's actually good because you tell me what it is. STL, yeah, none of this stuff is what I'd be looking for besides RESTful APIs. But maybe this is a camera person, and that is what they're specifically looking for. So yeah, I don't see that going down. So what you're gonna need to do, and I've scrolled all the way down here. Also, they dox themselves, so I can't scroll past this. I think like the next 3 people dox themselves for some reason. But yeah, so you need to focus on what your niche is as a C++ developer, because as a C++ developer, it's going to determine, are you working on the product, which it looks like you are here, but then this is the software. So I'm going to need you, and this is what you should do on my website. Go to my website under the resume template and guide, look at the resume creation guide, figure out how to find these for yourself, because that will give you a more accurate qualification list than what I can do. Basically, you find 10 to 15 good job descriptions that show qualifications and have a list of them, and then use an aggregate of 10 to 15 of those. And then once you find that, you can customize it to do that. Because, yeah, I'm not finding what I need here, but also maybe I'm looking at the wrong C++ developer, and there is a limit to what I can do on the information that I was given. So, I'm sorry, that's the best I could do. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a software engineer. And what kind of software engineer, you ask? I don't know. They didn't tell me. So software engineers are broken down to a bunch of different stuff. Again, usually it's Python backend, Java backend, 200 different types of C++, full stack, and front end. Again, there are more, but those are the most common. This person has a 100-to-1 ratio, which as an international student isn't great, but it's not terrible. That's actually not the worst I've seen for an international, so I'm actually expecting this to be relatively good resume. They get interviews and sometimes go to the last round and then either get ghosted or rejected. That can happen, yeah, unfortunately. Saying they found somebody else with more experience, I can't really help with that part. I can help you get the interview, but I can't really help you get more coding experience. But I really want to increase my response rate for my resume and fix any issues. So I think we could probably make it down to maybe 1 in 75, 1 in 50 or 60, but I'm actually expecting as a 1 in 100 to be pretty solid for an international. Internationals, on average, will need to about triple the amount of applications they need for the same result. So, let's see. Can I find this in 20 seconds? And again, I don't know what stack it is, so I'm going to try to figure out what stack. And go. All right. Health with React, Tailwind, Node.js, RESTful APIs. That's actually pretty solid. CI/CD with GitHub, migration to WordPress to Vue. Pretty solid, actually. Led the front-end revamp of 2 React natives, personalized UI, React UI, Node.js. Okay, so, in Azure. That's a little farther down. I almost didn't get to it. There is one critical flaw in this resume that is stopping people from moving forward with it. But I actually like a lot of this. Do they have a little too many percentages and numbers? Yes, but they still at least say most of what I need. My big problem here is I don't know if you're front end or full stack. And you kind of switched between the two of them. Oh, there's SQL way down there. So how you want to fix this is you want to break this into 2 separate resumes. One is going to be focused on full stack. The other is going to be focused on front end. This seems to be more of a front end role. But regardless of which resume you need, what you absolutely do need to put in is, if you're going for front end, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. That is 1,000% what you need to put in. You cannot, as a front end or full stack, not have JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. They require you to have it in. Do you list it here? Yes. Does it matter if it's here? No, it doesn't. I can't use anything here. I need to see the actual JavaScript. Again, there it is, way far down. It's all the way at the bottom. Oh, and using TypeScript. Yeah, this was kind of all I needed. So, okay. Again, I want to say this resume is not terrible. This could probably get a pass from me. What you need to do is first focus if you're going for front end or full stack, or create 2 separate resumes. Then what you need to do is, in your very first sentence of those, for front end, I need to see JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. If you're going for full stack, what I need, which I think you probably are a little more full stack than front end, you need TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML in the first one. You have Node, great. You have React, awesome. You do have SQL, but it's a little farther down than I would like. You do have WordPress, but WordPress is good specifically for front end. So this full stack, right? You can pause the video and write it down. This front end, okay? Those are the differences between the two. And you need to focus on each of those. So make a resume for both. And then when you get here, you're going to need to make this a little more understandable. Like this one, led the migration of a company website from WordPress to Vue.js. Great. Decreasing page load time by blah, blah, blah. Not as something I care about as much. Implemented CI/CD workflows using GitHub Actions, ensure HIPAA compliant. Pretty solid. I like it. This, really great. Again, I would prefer the JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, but otherwise really good. Here is where you start to sort of lose me, is most recruiters that are not trained in tech may not get down to Azure. Instead of saying Azure Blob Storage, just say Azure. And you probably want that here, is I would probably say led the front-end revamp of 2 React Native mobile apps in Azure, or in an Azure environment, introducing personalized UI components and optimizing rendering, right? And then you don't need the 20% part. And then here, is good to have React, but you already mentioned UI, so you don't need to do it. So again, you can save sentences. So fix your formatting to make it closer to this, which will help, or this, which is on my website. And then you need to clean up some of these bullet points, but overall, this is not bad. I don't want people to think, oh, he hates it. This is actually a pretty solid resume. And the fact that you are getting 1 in 100 is why. If you were not international, this would probably be getting you 1 in 33. It's just, again, you have to triple. So I think we can get this down to, as an international, probably 1 in 55 to 1 in 70-ish. So make those changes, makes it a little clearer. I would say condense some of these sentences together so that they see those qualifications a little easier, and you should have a lot more chance. But again, otherwise, I want you to say you do have a pretty solid resume. There's just a couple of other changes we can make. Like, this is above a C. This is like a B- resume to a B resume. So let's go to the next one. But again, props, like it, really good. Seriously, you just need to implement those changes and your ratio will be better. This is a resume of a, I don't know, they just said junior developer. So again, you need to tell me specifically what you're looking for because the qualifications are different. If this was a role I was directly speaking with the hiring manager for, it would be fine. But again, I'm finding these on my own because these are not roles I'm directly recruiting for. So what we need for a junior developer is I need to figure out what you are. Full stack, front end, back end, and if back end, are you Java or Python or whatever you can do with C++, because again, C++ can be crazy. And we saw a successful one of those resumes previously. So again, I want to be clear, the previous resume, really good, really good. I actually think that was a good resume. Could it be tweaked? Yes. But again, it's a solid resume. So I don't know this one's ratio, but let's find out if it's actually good or not. So can I figure out what they are? Go. All right, I see full stack here, but again, the rest of this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter because, again, you already got your bachelor's. Oh, wait, intern. Are you looking for an internship? That's 2 years away. Is this for an intern? HTML, enhancing user, PHP. Okay, I'm very confused. All right, so first off, I don't know if this is an intern resume or not because interns are judged, though they have different qualifications. So if this was an intern resume, it's also not very good. But this needs to be deleted. This can be kept. This should be deleted. And then this should be 1 line. This should be 1 line. Then going down, this is okay, right? Develop responsive UI components using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is great. And then implement integrated a PHP MySQL. Also really great. That's good. If this is for a front-end role, and again, internships are a little bit different, I am still missing a little bit more. I would like, I don't know what this is. I can't just say, like, I want React, but, like, front-end, I would want actually, no, I would want a little React for front-end. Maybe SEO, but then the problem here is the rest of this is junk, and then the rest of this is junk. Right? Like, again, you cannot just put this in. You want a good version of the resume? Look at the last one with just don't put as many percentages. And then here, I don't really see anything. And then here, even lower, I don't see anything. I don't see anything, and I don't see anything. So you start relatively solid with this, and then the rest of your resume doesn't really have anything I need. So, again, if you're looking for an internship, which I truly don't know. I don't know what you're looking for. You want to add, would you want to add this as just a teeny bit more of the skills and qualifications, such as, did you actually use any of these? Maybe like Java or C or C++, and maybe one thing about machine learning. And then you also, and Git. And then you need to put in how you worked well with others and how you worked on a team. At least in the US, I understand this person is in India, I assume, and I'm not a recruiter in India. I don't know exactly what they're looking for. So that's kind of the best I can do for this. This video has been kind of interesting. We had one of the worst formattings I've seen. Not one of the worst. It's up there, though, and a pretty darn good resume, actually. And then this, which is also not a ton. So I like the comparison. It wasn't intentional. But thank you all for watching. If you need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST till whenever work pulls me away. And, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out. Leave a comment. I will answer it in a couple of days if I can. And I'm here to help you get ahead of your job search.